And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone on this fantastic day. We had big fights. We're going to talk about those. There was the PFL, the UFC. We got Usyk against Dubois. All kinds of things to talk about. Other things going on in the combat sports world that we're going to touch on also, because you can see that my man Josh Thompson has his thinking cap on and is ready to just delve into all of the action and all the things going on.
John,
what's up, my man?
John, the only thinking that I have and the only question that I have is that what every other fan is listening to this show, they want to know, are you going to shut that damn bug zapper off?
I will not.
I love that. Is it officially off?
It's officially.
It's officially off.
I'd love to turn it back on.
The 50,000 listeners plus that are listening. Actually, there's a couple 100,000 on the audio platforms. We want to thank you guys for continuing to support us. They are also very grateful for this, for it to be shut off today. Thank you, John.
The real question is it off or did you kill all the bugs?
No, it's nonstop around here. So I will never kill all the bugs.
I know a lot of people.
Tennessee.
I know a lot of people in the comments were fucking around going, "Hey, killed like 600, 500, whatever it was." Somebody actually counted, said 163 was the real number.
Dude,
somebody listened to the show and and they were just counting.
Okay,
they went back and
all
counted.
right, yeah. Now, but you got to really think about this. I don't mean to put that person down, and I appreciate your excellence in counting that far, but how boring is your life? Yeah. That's what you're doing, man.
Yeah, but hey, you know what? I got a lot of love for you guys, man, because you guys make it fun in the comments when I'm reading them, and someone says, "Actually, I did count it, and it was 163 is the real number." I was like, "Dude, you're the man! You're the man!"
Damn.
Maybe it was a woman. I didn't read the name. I was like, just read the comment. But hey, whatever, man.
Could have been.
There was something else I wanted to talk about real quick too. Is that this company here, Virus, has been around for a while. They were actually splashing into the market. They're one of the first reps, if not the first people to come into the sport and help sponsor guys like Cub Swanson, who's got a big line with them as well. I think it's called Killer Cub.
Killer Cub.
But just fantastic gear and apparel and all that stuff. They had something go on. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it has to do with the economy. I don't know if it has to do with distribution or what. I haven't talked to them in depth, but they've worked with me for the longest time, and I feel like I need to give them a lot of love because, John, you always see me wearing their stuff, and they've done a lot for me, and I want to continue to support them. I know that they're not going to be doing any more sales here in Canada or the U.S. They say they'll see us soon, but that's a big hit to them, and I want to let them know. All the guys that I've worked over there with is Chris, Eugene, all the other guys that are out of there that I've had direct contact with. I want to thank you guys so much for all the years. I mean, it's been probably close to 7-8 years. I've been working with them, 6-7 years. I've been working with them, but they'll be doing more of all of their sales in the UK still. That's where I believe they're based out of, but they will not continue to be doing their sales here in the US. But if you have an opportunity, jump on, I think in the next day or two, they'll be shutting down their site, but they've got a lot of apparel that is still there at really, really low discounted rates. And so check them out if you want to snatch up all their stuff. Obviously their US apparel is different from the UK apparel. No different because, UK people dress a lot different than us. And we have a little more style, not them, not so much. But, we get it. So I just want to say, hey, Virus International, hopefully we see you guys soon. You guys are back in the States doing business. But that's a drastic loss for people in the sport of MMA. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support the sport of MMA. Thank you. And they work with wrestlers. They work with powerlifters. They dabble in a little bit of everything. And fantastic company to work with. And I'm very thankful for over the years.
Very nice.
Yes.
I didn't get a damn shirt, but very nice.
No. They sent you something, but I think that you said 2X, but it was a fitted 2X. So
it was definitely not 2X. It was a European.
It was a
2X.
European 2X. So there's a little bit of a misunderstanding on the. Well, I said I told him. I said his name is Big John for a reason, guys. He's a big guy.
Man, I would go in Europe or Japan, especially if I worked for an organization, K1 or Ryzen or something like that. Yeah, they say, "What's your size?" 2X. It was like a boy's medium, man. It was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
really?
Yep.
Dude, it was so small.
It's true.
Like-
The sizing over, like the sizing in Asia is way, like I was looking at 2 and 3Xs and they wouldn't fit me. They were still snug and tight. Yeah. So when you're looking at like a 2 and 3X, man, it's not the business over there.
Yep. I took one of the, if you look at, there's the very first Ryzen, I was working that and they had 2 different shirts, a white one and a black one. And this white shirt was so bad I had to cut it, but I stuffed it with pillows until it was stretched and just sat it there for like 3 days that I had it.
That's hilarious.
Just to try to get it to be where I could get into the damn thing.
I need to see Big John. The guys, there's a photo of Big John in these like Hooters type white shorts, the old school but they're white though. They're not like the orange color from Hooters, but they're white. It's the white version of it. And I'd like to see you in that, and then that white shirt from Ryzen. Put those 2 things on, you'd be a sexy motherfucker,
dude. Like stuffing 10 pounds of sausage in a 5-pound sock, man.
Oh man, I can see that. I'm visualizing it right now. Oh god, my eyes! I can't unsee it now. I can't unsee it. All right. Hey, before we get started though, I want you guys to go to weighingInMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel. Check it all out, man. Pick up some of our apparel over there at weighingInMerch.com. I want to thank you guys for always supporting us. And a lot of people have been sending me pictures of them wearing the gear, and I want to thank you guys. They said it's good quality, and I'm like, yes, it is. It is very good quality. And I love the way the shirts fit. I like how they hang off of me. They don't just like feel all stiff. They're a good quality shirt. Different types of stuff. You got the Let's Get It On shirt. Different colors available on that. The weighing in with the skulls. You got our old school logo. One of my favorites is I like the old school logo originally, but then we also do it very minor. It's like one little like pocket off to the side.
Badge.
Very nice. What is it called, Dave?
Like a badge?
Like a badge, yeah. But it's it's very much like this one. Very much like this, but it says weighing in. I love it. So that was something that Dave designed up, and it was our first logo, and I thought we did a great job. I like that logo a lot. But so on. People were asking to bring back some of the old school the Home Improvement and the Karate Kid.
One.
I think what happens though is that there's so many colors involved in those shirts, layer after layer. It just ends up being like really thick in the front. It's not a fun shirt. But we know what we've got to do though, John. We've got to do an actual black and white photo of the 2 of us working like a show or something like that. You know, whether we're in our suits or whatever it is, but a lot of those, I like that style. We'll do like a back-to-back kind of photo that you can put onto a shirt. It says Wayne.
Well, we got to put one of you standing against the lights at Bellator. That was a good one.
Oh,
in Japan.
Yeah, that was a good one in Japan.
That was a good one.
That was a good one in Japan.
You got to put that in a shirt.
Beautiful.
And say, quit your dreams.
I mean, quit your dreams.
Don't put that. That's horrible.
What an asshole.
Never quit.
Oh, it's
your
so
dream.
great. All right. Then, hey, also, too, before we get started, go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in, onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Subscribe to us over there for free. And you know what? Let's get right into
for free.
Let's get right into the UFC main event. Let's go. Max Holloway versus Korean Zombie. A little tear jerking after this fight, but the fight was good. It was a good fight. It used a little hesitation. I thought it was a fantastic fight. I got to be honest. I thought that Zombie was going to be a lot more hittable in those earlier rounds by Max. You could see that something was going on with Max, whether it was the Maui situation, whether it's just understanding that he needed this win to kind of keep him in that position to be next in line for a title shot, to do it again against Volk. All those things are weighing on his mind. Like, look, if I'm just sitting here spinning my wheels, and I'm not going to get that title shot, like the motivation starts to creep out. And I'm sorry, but man, the top level fighters, the best fighters in the world, were driven by that person that's in front of us, that motivation to get us to the title shot, get us to the goal. And he understands what it takes to get there. That's why he's still the number 1 contender. He's just lost to that guy 3 times. So are we going to see number 4? I thought he deserves to see number 4. But that being said, I felt like there was a little bit more going on with him mentally, maybe because of Maui. But I also think Korean Zombie had something going on with him mentally, understanding this may potentially be his last fight. And he fought a little bit harder. He fought a little bit more aggressive. I know he normally fights that way.
He does, but he did change up, and you could see it. I looked at it. We talked about it, and I said, I thought the Korean Zombie has to get after him and get after him early. If he's going to get him, he's going to get him in the first round because Max just builds and continues to get better in fights normally and stuff. And when I was watching, and I do think that Max in the beginning was having some distance issues as far as where Zombie was at and how to slide in so he could be effective. But Zombie was having some issues too with the distance. They both did, and both were throwing shots, that were okay. Max wins the first round, and from that point, Josh, the second round, Zombie took a lot of shots. He took a lot of heavy shots. He got hurt. You could see him get hurt. He survived it. And then I think in the third round, coming out, he told himself, well, obviously I'm not going to out-technique this guy. I need to go balls to the wall. And that's what he did. And I respect the hell out of him for it. I mean, it's something that, you'll see guys do every now and then. It's like, well, then let's just bite down and I'm going to go after you. And either you're going to go out or I'm going to go out. And he went out. And I respect the hell out of him for the way that he went after the fight. But it's like anything. And man, it's so tough to talk about when you enjoyed somebody and their career and the way that they always fought. He was called a zombie for a reason because he just kept coming forward and he would take damage and continue to just keep coming forward. And there comes a point, and we've said it how many times, you can only crash the car so many times before it starts to not run the same way. And he was a little bit slower. Those engagements didn't tend to come out in his favor near the end. And I'm glad to see him look and say, you know what? It's time.
Yeah.
And it's not that he can't beat people. He can still beat people, but he's not going to be the champion. And I think he sees that. And I think that's his determining factor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, I really feel like his 3 years away or 3.5 years away for military deployment or whatever it was that he was doing for his country, that really set him back because there were stages in there where he was physically bigger, stronger, hit harder than a lot of those fighters at the time in that era. And then when he came back, sure, he had some good fights, but you could tell that he in those 3 years, he hadn't evolved.
I think that's the difference is I don't think he got worse.
No.
But other people got better.
Mm-hmm.
And they caught up to some of the things that he was doing that he was very successful with. If you go back, he had some times when, you remember his fight with Mark Hominick?
Yes.
I mean, it lasted 15 seconds, at a time that Mark Hominick was just one of the best strikers there was in the featherweight division, was lighting everybody up, was doing, well, had Sean Tompkins as his coach and stuff. And man, 15 seconds later, he was unconscious on the ground. And you went, whoa. And that was after you watched, you knew that, you knew that he was good because of his fights with Leonard Garcia and the wars that they were. And then he got the first twister ever and all those things. But it was when his hands really started going and he was knocking people out the way he was. It was like, hey, this guy is something. And I think that was the guy that was, as you're saying, scary. And then he had to go away. He had a military commitment. He did that time. And during that time, I'm not saying it took away from him, but he wasn't improving while other people were.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Was a big difference.
I think that was a huge difference because like you said, look, with the things, the attributes he has, I don't want to say they come naturally, but the power, I was never blessed with power. I fucking hate this guy because he had power. Okay. But it just really bugs me. But look, he has it. It's now you can add to your power by using the proper technique, putting a little bit of weight on in certain areas. You know what I mean? Like learning how to use your proper technique can add to your power and being more relaxed, all of those things. But he hasn't evolved since then. When I look at when you're talking about the Mark Hominick fight, it's funny that you brought that up because I was actually thinking that same thing because in that very first exchange with Max, he caught Max off guard and Max was like, oh crap, this guy can pop.
Ooh,
okay.
He's got pop.
He's got some pop and he kind of knocked Max back a little bit. And Zombie just thought, okay, look, I just got to keep this pace and keep this pressure in front of him. He didn't have as much output as he should have in the beginning rounds. But a lot of that was because Max's speed and the way that he was mixing up. Feinting to the body, then coming back up top with the left hook. All of those things were throwing
He
Zombie
couldn't
off.
miss with that left hook for a while.
Yeah, he couldn't miss for a while. Yeah. Max was on point, but I was saying that is in the beginning, Zombie had moments in the beginning to really kind of put him away, but you could tell that he was, I don't want to say he was he was taking in the moment. A lot of it was, I don't want to get caught. I don't want to get caught. I got that feeling from him. Normally he would rush in on certain things. When he hit you hard, he'd come and rushing in. That's what he did in the third round. He would have, there was moments in the first and second where he had hurt Max, and the guy who came out in the third round is that if that guy would have showed up in the first, second round, the fight maybe would have been over. Whether he would have won or lost, no one knows. But I'm saying that he could have, while he was still dealing with Max not knowing how much power he had and how good he was in certain areas, that's the opportunity to catch him off guard. Now, look, I don't want to sit here and take anything away from Max. Max fought a great fight, and I think you pointed out perfectly the fact that as the fight goes on, Max gets stronger. He's that type of fighter. He starts getting into a rhythm. He starts figuring out your rhythm. He starts capitalizing on everything that you're doing and you're giving him. He takes whatever you give him. He makes it look so easy. And his takedown defense tonight too was really good. Zombie sought a couple takedowns. Didn't set him up at all, but I'm saying they weren't remotely close. And I thought Max fought a good fight. A lot of pressure on his shoulders to get that microphone tonight and just talk about what it meant to represent Hawaii, Maui, everything, and and just to have the opportunity to speak on it. Those are things that are very important to fighters coming into a fight. Like, they're thinking, I need to be able to get that microphone at the end of the night and say the things that are on my mind, for my people. And whether it's your family, whether it's your friend who's dealing with cancer, or whether it's your friends who have lost their house in a fire, it has to do with that fighters think about that moment to say, hey, I'm thinking about you in a moment that I'm in here doing battle, but you guys are on my mind. And it's important to fighters, and people at home need to understand that. Like, a lot of these fighters, like you guys saw me last show, man, we wear our emotions on our sleeves. It's an emotional thing.
Not everyone. But you do, and that's good. There's nothing wrong with it.
But it is an emotional thing sometimes, whether it's someone you fought, someone you tend to care about, someone you've shared the cage with for 15 minutes or 45, or 25 minutes, whatever it is. I mean, those are things that are important to me. And the fighter's safety are important to me. What they do after their career is important to me. And I think for Max, this was a moment for him to bring more attention, for him to bring that opportunity, that more attention to people in Maui, and he did it. Now for Zombie, we just talked about last show. You and I have had this discussion about my career, but we had this discussion about Tony Ferguson last show. I got a little, emotional about the thing, and the situation, because I see it. I see the future for that. But then in this situation, he took the approach that I took. Is that I don't want to be number 3, number 2, number 5, number 7. On my way up, sure. But as I'm going backwards, I'm making another little run at it. If it's not there, it's not there. Korean Zombie understood that. He's like, I want to be the champion. If I'm not the champion, then what am I doing? What's the difference, John?
Exactly
what is the difference, though, between guys like Zombie and guys like, that just can't walk away? I'm not just going to point Tony out. I'm going to say there's a lot of guys we've had.
I think first off, let's just be honest. There's an identity that goes with being a fighter, and that is who you are. Now, see, and this is, a lot of people are going to sit there and talk about, look, I fight, but that's not who I am. Okay. And I understand when someone says that, but for many of the fighters out there, it is who they are. It's all they know. And if you take away the fight game from them, they don't have anything. They're looking and saying, I don't have much. Now, do I think that that's true? In some cases, it is true. In some cases, even with guys, no, you're being short-sighted, and you're not understanding what you do have and how special it is what you have. because I try to tell people all the time, people get, addicted to their jobs, to their lifestyles, and they think that any change in it, it'll be the end of them. That's almost the way they look at it. You look and you go, man, you're not looking at this the right way, because I don't, and you could take people from, I don't care what, position, platform. I always say, when it comes to like chiefs of police, they don't leave. I don't know why they don't leave, Josh, because as soon as they leave, they're nobody. That position of power, all that power that they have, and they have power, they're the leader of this person to that person to that person. It's just running down. They've got power. And it's the moment they leave, it's gone. And you can take a look at someone like a Dana White. Could Dana leave the UFC? Absolutely. Has he done a great job? Absolutely. Will the UFC function and go on without him? Absolutely. Okay. The whole thing, it won't. I don't care who you are. And I say it all the time. Look at, they get a new president of the United States at least every 8 years. If they can replace that person, they can definitely replace you. And so anybody can be replaced, but you have to look, the thing to look at is when you leave your job, it's over. And yeah, people will sit there and say, oh, you were great. Bye. And you're forgotten. Your family will not forget you. The people that are important in your life will not forget you, and they will always be there. And that's where you make your next, whatever it's going to be, as far as, you get a career decision, whatever you're going to do, you've got to get rid of the past to allow the present and future to come in. And a lot of guys don't understand how to do that.
Yeah.
They think that if they leave the fight game, then everything is going to fall apart. And it's not. You just have to take that first step.
Well, I look at it a couple different ways. When you leave, a lot of the identity issues come from the ego. And I'm going to be honest, like even for myself, the Bellator analyst job came along. I loved doing it, and that made it easier for me to retire. There was that. And then on top of that, we started working together doing the podcast, and the podcast does, pretty well. And so those two things. And then, and then other things that I was doing on the side, gym stuff, owning gyms, owning other little things that I've done before I quit fighting. All of those things. I'm not getting rich off of any of them. You know what I mean? But the thing is, but I enjoy, John, you and I have talked about.
But I wish you were.
Because then you'd be getting rich too if we were doing for what.
Well, yeah, something like that.
But we do this because we really do enjoy it. I mean, we have been lucky enough to do decent. We're having fun with it, though. We love doing this. Yeah. But a lot of it is the ego. I'm thinking now, look, like what else can I do? Because there's other things that I've got time. I've got time because, Bellator is, once or twice a month. We do the podcast twice a week, which I can do this thing anywhere in the world with my setup that we can just put in a backpack and leave. And all my other little things that I have, percentages in that I own and stuff, they all run themselves. I don't have to do that. So what else can I do? Well, I've thought about it. I've thought about like, I'm too old now to join the military because I would love to join the military. I still would. I'm too old to join the military. I've thought about trying to be a police officer, trying to be a firefighter. Like those are things you can still do, but there is a cutoff line, I would imagine, right? Soon.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. So, there's a cutoff line there, but I think that I think a lot of it is pride. Like fighters sometimes will say like, I went from everyone recognizing me in Las Vegas at the craps table or walking through the casino or walking out in the bright lights, all these things. Right. And now I'm applying for a job as a police officer or, whatever it is, firefighter or fucking at a grocery store or an electrician. Man, you were a UFC fighter or you were a whatever fighter. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough pill to swallow for someone who gave up, 20 years of their life to go and do. But like I said the other day on the midweek show, is that you have a whole nother life after fighting. It could be another 40 years. You made a lot of money, whether he made a lot of money in fighting, a lot of fighters made a lot of money and some didn't. But you've got to fund the rest of your life. And here's the only thing. It's hard to fund the rest of your life when you have no idea when it's going to end.
No.
That's what people don't wrap their head around. It's like, how do you save for the end when you don't know when the end is? God bless her soul. My grandmother's 95. My grandfather did really well, but like you don't know when the end is. Luckily, he did really well. But like normal people are like, okay, how long can I do this? I don't even know where the money's coming from. They can't work anymore. So anyways, go ahead, John.
Now I look at it and I know how I was, and people that are competitive, and no matter, especially competitive sports, when you were 20 years old, did you think that, you were going to be 40 someday?
No, actually, I thought I was going to actually be dead by 25.
So the same here.
Yeah, I thought
I can tell you right now, when I was, 20 years old, I figured if I made it to 30, hell, I did good. I'll do really good making it to 30.
Yeah.
And that's the way a lot of guys think. They don't think of, I got to think down the road, no, down the road is, that's next month, man. And they'll live for today and not put away for tomorrow. And that's the way a lot of athletes are, not only fighters, football players, basketball players, baseball players. There's a lot of people that have made a lot of money that are absolutely broke.
Yeah.
And so, the one thing that I think is nice is when you can see someone like Zombie be able to step away, and he's stepping away with confidence that he's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And that's the way it should be.
Well, because I think like I said, once you wrap your head around the fact that this isn't who I am, fighting doesn't make me. Like, sure, I've developed great connections throughout. Like, one of the hardest things for me to do was, and John, you and I have talked about this a bunch of times, personally off camera, is my hardest thing for me to move away from California was not the state. And I was born and raised there. I mean, I went to high school up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and shout out to all my peeps. Okay. But you know what I mean? Like, for me, it wasn't even so much leaving my family that was all there. It was all the connections and the people and the friends that I had developed over owning all my gyms, developing relationships with the young kids that I had trained. Now they're all, some of them are fucking, when I started training them, John, some of them are going to college now. One of them.
Oh, I know. Trust me. So I have the same thing. I got them out of college. I'm like, entire wrestling career done. Yeah. You look and you go, "How's time gone?" But you look and you say, it's very difficult to leave the situation of right now. You're in that position where you can say, if something happens, I know where to go and how to get it fixed easily because I have people in all these different things. And when you step away, those people are going to start to drift away a little bit because you don't see them as much, and eventually things drift off. And so you're right. You've got to reestablish new relationships.
I had some family, like my aunts and some of my niece. She had gotten a flat tire on one of the highways there, and literally just called AAA. And I called my buddy and said, "Hey, just take the car directly to my buddy's tire shop." Shit was fixed within 20, 30 minutes. She was back on the road on her way to her college, school. Just other things too. Someone broke into my gym. Being able to call the cops that I know on the police force, hey, looking into it, versus the city of San Jose, they sent out these, I don't know what they were. They were like just community people that came out, took down notes, and then they filed it to the police.
Like a report.
Yeah, it was a report basically, and then nothing ever happened. But just figuring out, hey, yeah, and then you get a little backstory on it. Hey, yeah, that same person that we saw in your thing broke into the church down the street, broke into the people down there, so we're going to keep more police force around the area. Those are the connections that you're trying to develop, it takes years to develop, a lifetime pretty much. And leaving all of that is really what was important to me. Because at the end of the day, when you're laying on your deathbed, it's not about how much money you made. It's not about how much fucking time you spent on social media. It's not about how many fucking chicks you banged out, fucking how many drinks you had. It's not about any of that. It's about the relationships that you made and that you have been able to carry through you throughout your life. And those are the most important things when you're talking about your life. And I'm happy for Korean Zombie. I thought he had a great career. I felt like he was set back because of the military obligation he had to his country, but I also honor the fact that I think that's fantastic. I think it's that's fucking very awesome. I think it's something people should speak highly of about him and, countries that do that. I think for him, and then with Max, congratulations, man. Fantastic fight, fantastic ability, and there's a lot weight on your shoulders. You came through. I know we went off on a lot different rant about this whole thing, guys.
Yeah, we definitely went off on a rant.
We went way off on all this stuff, but
you got to give it up for Max Holloway because he went and did what he was supposed to do against a guy who's a really tough fighter in a situation where his emotions could have been just a little bit off based upon all the things that were happening. He had to keep his his mind sharp. He had to keep himself on target. And he went out and did exactly what he was supposed to do. But the one thing I want to give up, to the UFC. Very nice job of at the end when Chan Sung Jung, the Korean Zombie, is walking out. You started to play Zombie again, and you got the crowd singing the song, and man, that was something that he will never forget. Mm-hmm. It was a great moment. And you did it right. It was like when Bellator brought all the fighters for Fedor. That was a great moment, and they did it right. And it's really nice to see when someone deserves that kind of send-off or that moment to really be able to look and say, you know what, my career was pretty goddamn cool. I think the Korean Zombie is going to look back at that moment with all of those people singing Zombie at the end, something he'll never forget.
I mean, when he walked out of the cage, he took a second and took it all in.
Yeah.
I mean, that lets you know that he was really appreciative. He understood the situation. He understood what was going on. He's like, hey, because a lot of times when you get done, the moment captivates you too much. And you rush out, you walk out, you just, hey, everyone, bye, bye, bye. And you let that overwhelm you. And then you don't really take it in. He took a second at the top of the steps right before he stepped down those steps and left the cage for the last time. He just looked around and he actually smiled, and I think, and you got to remember, it was a main event. Most people just bounce out and leave. There was a crowd still there singing that song.
Man, I'll tell you what, it was awesome.
And
it was an awesome moment.
I've got to ditto what you said about the UFC. Great job on utilizing that moment to let him know what he meant to the sport. I thought it was fantastic, man. I thought they did a great job with Robbie Lawler. I thought they did a great job with Korean Zombie. Fantastic. Yeah. Both of them. Yep. So good for them. Because remember, they did the video thing for Robbie.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Freaking awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah. So good stuff. And awesome. Next fight.
Anthony Smith taking on Ryan Spann for a second time. The first one went Anthony Smith's way pretty quick. He got a nice win off of that. He even said that he knew that wasn't going to happen again in this one. I'll tell you what, this is one of those fights where you're going to get a lot of people both ways. Anthony Smith definitely wins the first round. Ryan Spann definitely wins the second round. So it all comes down to the third round and who you thought did the best in that round. Two judges gave it to Anthony Smith. I didn't. I gave it to Ryan Spann. I'm being honest. I thought Ryan Spann took the third round, but it was close and no one can complain because you left it in a position where you could have done more. If you were Anthony Smith, you could have done more. And if you were Ryan Spann, you possibly could have done more. So I look at it, close fight, but congratulations to Anthony Smith, man. I don't know why people don't give him the credit for his toughness, because he is tough. I was watching the thing of some people complaining about him saying, oh, he gives up and stuff. I'm like, when the fuck did you ever see Anthony Smith give up? No. They were actually saying, and he's not smart. He could have gotten a win against John Jones if he had just, taken the disqualification. It was like, holy, now you're going to hold it against someone that he did the thing that is hard to do, to sit there and say, I'm going to continue on in the fight. Oh yeah. Let's take that away from him. Anthony Smith has been a dog for years. He's a stud fighter. I enjoy watching him. He goes out. He's got good technique. He kind of looked like a Muay Thai fighter in this one a little bit more. He kept on, a little bit more straight up and down, bringing the leg up. But Good fight back and forth. I think Ryan Spann is going to be looking and kicking himself later on about that fight.
Well, you just brought up the Muay Thai thing because I was going to bring that up as well. But I also look at guys that are having success stopping the calf kick, and those are the guys that are standing like that. What it is him. You got Charles Oliveira, who's I think originally started doing that.
He does it all the time.
He does it all the time. He lifts the leg, but he lifts the leg continuously to stop from getting calf kicked. But he did that a little bit before also. But it just kind of worked out for him and stuff in the calf kicks, or not allowing the calf kicks to actually happen.
Yeah.
That being said, Charles Oliveira is a fucking beast on the ground. So Charles doesn't care if his back leg gets swept out from underneath him. He ends up on bottom. Anthony Smith is good on the ground. He is very good. Their first fight, I believe, ended in a triangle, right? I think Anthony Smith triangled him.
Yeah, he got
so he's good. He's no slouch off of his back, and he's good on top. But I like the fact that he tried to make the adjustments because I know that was taking some calf kicks in his previous fights, and they were having an effect on him. Now, people just think because, the calf kicks happened in the last fight, that they're gone. No. Calf kicks are something that, if done right and continuously, will do damage to your leg for the rest of your life. So ask Rory McDonald. His actual muscle tore off of the bone partially, and so he couldn't take calf kicks at all. That's why he retired. I mean, a lot of what I've heard, he obviously was losing the love for fighting. But he just realized his body was so banged up. His nose, he's got basically a fake nose. He's got one of those plastic noses that if you hit him properly, it kind of separates, and it's a fiberglass or plastic nose or bridge or whatever it is. And then his calves,
bridge inside.
Yeah, his calves all fucked up. So it's and that right now is kind of taking over the sport. So how do you expect to carry on in the game if you don't make adjustments? And Roy was someone that always had a wide stance. It's the way he fought. Whereas Anthony Smith, he's been around the block a long time. Sure, he's taken some damage, but he's also fought the best guys in the world. And he's a fucking savage. He's never been a quitter, and he's fucking one of the best 205-pounders ever to walk the face of the earth. I think he's a fantastic fighter. He's making the adjustments that he needs to make to continue on towards trying to be the world champ. I honor him for that, man. It's not easy to change everything that you've done, and also to get a win off of it. Now, for you, you said you thought Ryan Spann won. I honestly looked at the third round. I almost thought it was a draw, John.
Yeah, it's close. I swear, the only reason I thought Ryan Spann, I thought he actually landed the harder shots in that round. I thought he had more effective strikes in that round. And that was, but like I said, neither guy can complain. When you look at that, and people, someone's going to say it's controversial. Not controversial at all. It was a close fight. Yeah. It was easy to see that Anthony won the first round. Easy to see Ryan won the second. And then the third, it could have gone either way. And, you're going to get at least two of the judges, going one way. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it should have been controversial. No one should be sitting here going, "Oh yeah, it was controversial." No, it was a close fight, and then close fight.
The way it went is the way it went.
That's it.
Next fight.
I gotta say this one disappointed me. I'm sorry.
Really?
Giga Chikadze, it did, and Alex Caceres. I was looking for more of. I don't know. I don't know what I was looking for. I think I was looking.
That's the
more
problem.
forward.
You didn't know what the fuck you were looking for. That's why it disappointed you.
No, I was looking for Clay. I was so happy with Clay Collard against Shane Burgos, so we'll talk about that one.
Don't bring that in here and start ruining this guy's moments, man. Come on,
I was
John.
looking for that. I was wanting that kind of fight between these two. No, and they both fought well. Giga obviously landed the harder shots. That was a big difference. And you got to look and say, man, I totally understand. Alex Caceres' hair is part of his shtick. It's kind of like the Clay Guida thing, but man, it moves so much that even when he's not getting hit hard, it looks like he's getting hit hard, and it has an effect.
No, I agree with you. This fight didn't disappoint me at all. I got to be honest though, it let me know that Giga's not ready for those top guys, and that's not a knock on Alex Caceres at all, but his whole claim is that he's one of the best stand-up guys in the world, or one of the best stand-up guys in MMA. I can agree with you. You're a fantastic stand-up guy. But Alex Caceres is good on the feet. He's not great on the feet. He's got a different style. But I'm just shocked. I'm more disappointed in the fact that Alex Caceres didn't try to wrestle more.
That was my whole thing. I mean, I thought he would.
Had he tried to wrestle more, because him on the top position in the grappling positions, he is head and shoulders above Giga on the ground. Head and shoulders above Giga on the ground. On the feet,
at least from what we've seen from Giga in the past.
Exactly, I agree with you. But I just don't think Giga would be able to make up that type of gap in the grappling that I've seen from him from there to what I've seen out of Alex. Alex is damn good on the ground. His flexibility, his ability to, to hit you from, whether it's from the bottom or from the top, to get sweeps, submissions, all those triangles, arm bars, gets the rear naked, those things.
He's gotten very proficient.
He is very good on the ground. So all of those things, I would have liked to have seen him try to attack that more. Look, and Alex has got a fucking beard on him, man. Damn, that guy can take a shot. And all the hype and all the stuff that was around Giga being this great kickboxer. Now, I get it. You're dealing with... He is.
He's a hell of a kickboxer, man. Because I seen when he was in Gloria, I didn't ref him there, but I was, working and I was watching his fights, and I was like, God damn, this guy can fight.
No, he can fight, but it's also different when you're fighting an MMA guy. I understand that. True. Because now you got to worry about takedowns, all of those things. For me, what was missing was the output and the explosiveness of Giga, more so pushing the pace on Alex Caceres. Caceres, he started to slow down in the second round. That's when Giga started to take over. But Alex was still there. Alex was still landing shots in that third round that could have potentially put Giga down. I mean, those are things that I'm like, all right, well, this shouldn't be this close on the feet. Giga should have ran away with it. I mean, I had it 29-28 because I had Alex winning the first round.
Yeah.
So, but overall, the fight didn't disappoint me. Where I was disappointed was I wanted Alex to fight smarter. That's it.
Can understand. So did I. Okay. And that was probably what my disappointment was. But Rinya Nakamura, I'm just telling you right now, I was super impressed with this kid. Super impressed with this kid.
Yeah.
And Fernie Garcia, they put on a hell of a battle. But I'll tell you what, Nakamura showed he is talented. He is called the hybrid. And he is a talented young man because his ability to move, and he is fast. He got some speed. And I was like, damn, that was fast. And he was just all over Garcia in that fight. And Garcia fought his way out of some, tough situations. He kept himself in the fight, just wasn't able to find any room to be offensive, really, against Nakamura. Yeah. Kept finding himself in defensive situations and just wasn't able to get his game going. But god damn, Rinya Nakamura is good. He's someone I cannot wait to watch as he builds in the future. He's now what, 8?
I think 8-0. I think he's 8-0 now. And look, you can always tell. I mean, he's number 2 on the card, right? Because it was Tafa was first on the card, on the main card, but Nakamura's number 3. So he's closer to the co-main. He's like right in the middle there. But you know that they have plans for him.
Oh yeah.
There's a market they're trying to get into. That's 1. Okay, and 2 is that he's undefeated and he fights the way he fights. He came out and did what he was supposed to do. I mean, I wouldn't say he put a beating on him, but he dominated that fight from beginning to end. He dominated the fight from beginning to end. So good job to him. Congratulations. I'm actually looking forward to seeing him fight again. But I got to be honest, man. The Blanchfield fight and Santos fight, hello. Great fight. Great fight. You want to know why? Because
tough fight.
Tough fight. Because Blanchfield reminded me, John, of me. The person that can never win the fucking first round. Okay, because they're a little slower.
She did not.
They're a little slower. They don't hit as hard. They're just in your face, trying to beat you with cardio and technique as the fight goes on. She fought a great fight. She didn't let any of the shit that happened in the first round get to her. She stayed with the game plan. Second, third round, she started running away with it. Big shots, great top pressure, great. All this. She made a couple little mistakes here and there, but man, she's on her way. She's on her way. She's fantastic.
Well, she has showed that, man, she's just a gritty fighter that keeps on coming, and she doesn't get frustrated when things don't work for her. She just comes back to do it again and again, and she just maintains whatever it is, the game plan that her and her camp have come up with. She just sticks with it, and she had one shot that landed on Santos, and it was a left hand. And it bothered Santos. You could see Santos blinking her right eye a lot and just sitting there and closing it. And I thought that shot started to change the flow of the fight into Blanchfield's corner a little bit. And that was in the second round that I think it happened. And Santos, hung tough, but just she could not deal with, that clinch game that Erin Blanchfield had. And it was a lot of people were saying, well, Blanchfield didn't do anything. Oh, yes, she did. Yes, she did. She did a lot. All that clinching, all the little knee strikes, all the elbows inside, all those little shots. they add up,
Mhm.
you know, and yeah, it's not exciting. I'm not going to tell you it's real exciting, but if you're the person that's in there, it's freaking absolutely exhausting, and it's frustrating to you because you can't get away from the person. And that's Erin Blanchfield's game, and she's making you fight her game.
I mean,
That's why she won.
I can give you guys representation of guys that have made their careers off that. John Fitch, Danny
yes.
Sabatello is making his career right now just directly off of that. The aggressiveness, the in your face, never giving you an opportunity to breathe. Randy fucking Couture. Hello. Randy Couture's whole career was about just getting in your face, never giving you a chance to breathe, grinding on you, hanging on you, and when he did get you down, making you pay. That was it.
Yep.
That was it. Like, if you got back up, okay, cool. Just Matt return you back down, break your fucking soul and your heart.
You talk about the first guy with Matt return.
Yeah.
Look, it was Randy.
Yeah.
Because, man, he would let you sometimes work your way to the feet. He'd work in that clinch, take you down again. Man, you work your way to your feet. It's like, okay. And here it comes again.
Yeah, the guy there was, even though Fitch got a lot of love for doing that, man, the guy that did that to me the most ever in AK was fucking Josh Koscheck. Yeah. That guy would just let me get up.
Josh was a hell of a wrestler.
He was a hell of a wrestler.
Josh was a hell of a wrestler.
But I mean, I would have loved to have had him in his prime when Habib was there. Because they'd already had their falling out and, and that kind of thing when Habib first come in. But, man, I would have loved to have seen the two of them get after each other. Because the explosiveness on the feet of Koscheck, the explosiveness on his double leg to his flare and all those things, and to see him go against guys like Habib, Islam, and Abu Bakr and those guys, to watch them kind of get after each other would have been fun. Would have been fun because they would have had some good goes, especially on wrestling day. Would have loved to have seen it. Loved to have seen it. Yeah. All right, next fight.
You had Junior Taffa coming in, taking on Parker Porter. Junior Taffa's brother had already fought Parker Porter before, so this was I'm not sure if this was the first time on the main card for Parker Porter, but I know he had just gotten his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a tough dude, but Junior Taffa on the feet just got power, hurt him early, kind of crushed the space, made a mistake, and then came back and put it on him again.
All right. I don't know if you paid attention to all this, but I'm going to go right into this. John, this fight should have been changed. This fight, there was a moment there in the double leg after Parker had pressed him to the fence.
Oh, yes.
And Taffa grabs the fence and stops the takedown that way. This is what we've been talking about. This fight should have automatically been started on the ground. And now I know you
can't do that.
I know you can't do that. But the thing is, he was on his way down. He grabbed the fence and kept him from getting him down. There's got to be a penalty. This was a blatant fence grab. And nothing. And who was the ref? Was it Goddard?
But the only penalty you can do, no, that one.
Who was the ref? Yeah, it was Mark Goddard. Mark, man, I like you, man. I like you a lot. But man, when I see you, I'm gonna give you a piece of my mind. This is one of those fights. This drives me absolutely crazy because
you can't say that he even saw that though.
He warned him about it.
Saw
it. John, I'm gonna hit you right now through the microphone, through this fucking camera. John, he warned him. Don't you? He said, "Don't do that."
I'm protecting my guy, man.
Jeez, man. It was one of those scenarios and situations where it had a direct impact on whether he got the takedown or not. And it just, I don't know how you solve that though, John. He should have been put on the ground. And I know you can't do that, but he needs to be put down on the ground. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Look at, I'm being honest.
Or take a point right there on the spot.
So, look, I still sit on the rules committee, and actually, I use that as a thing to try to get in that cut man thing. I was trying to put one that I knew they think would be crazy to putting in the. Look, on a foul, a cut man can come in and close a cut for somebody that is injured due to the foul. And what I said was, hey, if we have someone that grabs the fence, the referee would be able to stop it and put the person in a predetermined position, we'll say half guard, and start the fight from there. You end up being put in the place you supposedly did not want to go based upon the grab of the fence. And the first person that said, I don't want that responsibility, Mark Goddard. He said, I'm not, I don't want to be able to, oh no, I don't want people saying that, oh, you decided you want to put him here. It's a lot. It is a lot. And it's, right now he can take the point or he can, separate him if it's an advantage for the person that the foul went against, but that's about all he can do.
I honestly don't think you put him in half guard. I think you put him in butterfly guard. Being honest.
See, and there's part of your problem.
Why? What's the problem? It's a neutral position you just fouled. So
why should it be a neutral position?
Well, no, I'm putting you on your back underneath me now. When you were up on your feet. You fouled.
Yes.
You committed a foul. So let me put you down on your back. It's not really neutral. It's neutral on the ground, but you're now on your back.
It's neutral because guard is as neutral as you're going to get. I don't care what kind of guard it is as far as, no, it's on the ground.
No.
Closed guard.
Anything
is
not
close
neutral,
to 50-50. Excuse me. It's as close.
There's no excuse for what you're about to say because it's wrong.
You're going to get.
It's wrong, John. There's no excuse.
What excuse?
There's all the submissions are from the guard.
You're trying to
the guy
say
on top
butterfly.
Only has yes.
Exactly. That's the whole point. So I'm not going to put someone in a position.
Did I miss the point? Because you seem like you skated past it. What was the point?
No,
John?
I said half guard.
Yeah, but so that's giving the stark advantage to the person on top.
Okay, and who fouled?
I get it, but that guy didn't want to go to the ground. I get what you're saying.
I get it.
Wait a second.
And who fouled?
I'm the one that normally is fighting for the guys to be put on the ground, and now you're trying to reverse this role. I'm trying to make it as neutral as possible.
Quit trying to be neutral anymore. Because you weren't neutral in any other part of the things you were doing.
John, the bottom line is you want to penalize them, but you don't want to take them to the point where they end up losing the fight. Being in a butterfly position, they still have the options for sweeping. They still have the options to come underneath. They still have the options to stand back up. Half guard, they don't have those options. That option is you put them in one of the worst positions to be on the bottom. That is the worst position to be on.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
So if it's a worse position, will it keep you from grabbing the fence?
But do you want to be the ref that decides that outcome of the fight? That's where it goes.
Hold on.
I'm not trying to decide the outcome.
Again,
I'm trying to make it as neutral as possible.
I am telling you right now, there was nothing nothing was ever decided as far as what position. And it would have had to have been decided upon. But I always look and say, I want to put you where you don't want to ever grab the fence.
And that's maybe why the rule never got passed, John. Come to me for more refereeing advice. Okay? I'm telling you. Look, I look at it as like the penalty is good enough for me if you put them on the bottom underneath me in a butterfly position. There's no real submission threat there. There is a submission. There is a sweep threat there, but there's also ground and pound for me on the top. So if I was to say it was a neutral position, that would
Maurice
probably be.
Smith would have loved it.
Yeah, Maurice Smith, TK, Kosaka would have loved it. But I get what you're saying. But the game has changed enough, from Maurice days to now that is kind of more of a neutral position. Now they could just roll their legs to the outside and get a full guard from there.
Absolutely.
But I think though too, if the person on top is feeling uncomfortable, he can also back out and go back to his feet if he wants. So there's a ton of options there. Available for that. Man, John, like your thing is glitching on you, so this is what you look like. I don't know if you can see that.
I get that all the time with you.
It's so great. I was like, John, are you having a little seizure over there? What's going on, bud?
It's like in slow-mo, right?
I thought maybe the bug zapper got a hold of your foot.
Yeah. Your slow-mo in real time, nobody on YouTube will see you in slow-mo because it records in real time. It records normally, but in real time.
I get that all the time with you.
So let me ask you then, let's try to clarify this. You think that obviously there's nothing they can do. Should he have taken a point?
He could have.
Should he have broken them and started it separate?
He could have. I think, when you take a look at that position of time, Parker Porter was hurt. Taffa made the mistake of crushing that space. Mm-hmm. He should have kept himself at a distance. It would have helped him a lot, but he crushed it. Porter was able to get a hold of him, and it's what slowed the fight down. So in a way, what you're looking at, if you're Goddard, is you're saying, I don't want to separate him. Mm-hmm. Because right now Porter's got a hold of him and he's hurt. he's better off having a hold of him than me stopping it and separating, because then they're going to start from a separated position. That's worse for him. So I can understand why he looked at it that way.
Okay, let me give you let me help you along with this refereeing thing again. Okay, so what you do is, John,
your help does not help.
What you do, look, and I know, look, this is the other thing. I know everything happens so fast. The decision has to be made like that. But in an ideal world, ideal scenario situation, Parker was hurt. What you do is you stop the fight. You give Taffa the warning. You pull Parker aside. That gives Parker time to recover, and then you restart them.
Time.
I get it, but you're gonna grab him by the wrist, walk him to the center. You're gonna give him the 1-1-1.
You're now you're altering things. Okay, go ahead. Oh, you're grabbing Taffa by the wrist.
You're grabbing Taffa by the wrist.
Thank you. Okay,
pulling
I thought you were talking about Porter. I'm like,
no, pulling Taffa to the center of the cage, taking his 1 point to all the judges.
Take the 1 point.
Put him back to the cage, which gives Parker. Parker gives him time to recover, and then he puts him back against the fence where they were. That would be an ideal situation. Now I know that this is all happening so fast. It's hard to really think on the fly like that. I mean, but this is probably why I may end up a referee after all this stuff.
Yeah, well, right. I can't wait for that one, baby.
It'll never happen, guys. I'd have a better chance working for the U.S. government than fucking being a referee. Oh, man. All right. Okay, next fight.
Waldo Cortez Acosta against Lucas Brzeski. That was a big face plant knockout.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know what more to say about that. That happened in the first round, about 3 minutes in, and it was big time shot, big time that look at Cortez has proven many times that he has got power.
Yeah.
And he can stand and bang. And he just proved it again.
He's very confident. He throws with bad intentions. Yep. He
does throw it bad. Boy, he swings hard.
Yep, he does.
Yeah, sometimes puts himself out of position with it, but I like the fact that he swings hard.
Well, when he's dealing with guys that are not as athletic as him, he can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Garrett Armfield, he just one-sided fight.
I'll tell you what a body shot.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the body shot setup and then big blows. I know that Kazama was not, seemed like he was not happy with the stoppage, but it wasn't a bad stoppage.
No, it wasn't a bad stoppage.
He got hurt. He got hurt bad.
All that ref did was save
him from worse abuse.
That was in the first round, John.
Extra
he had 2 more rounds of getting his ass kicked.
Oh, I know.
It was one-sided. The technique, the tightness
but the fight
of Armfield.
The fight that I really enjoyed.
Yes.
And I talked about
this.
Yes, you
did.
When I said I thought this would be a great fight. Was Michael Usyk against Chidi Ijikwani.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'll tell you what. Chidi was freaking looking beautiful throughout a lot of it. And I said, what you got to see out of Usyk is he's got to get through the first round. He didn't have to get through the first round, but that was what we were talking about. You've got to put up with that speed of Chidi in the beginning and the accuracy, and then just put a couple more shots and just make it through. Get him a little tired, and things start to change a little bit. And that's what happened. And Usyk is a dog that just does not quit.
I don't know what the hell Chidi was thinking, trying to do a fucking lateral drop. I was like, what are you doing? Like, okay, and then it just was, I think it was just a natural reaction in terms of he was already going backwards and just thought, okay, let me just try to step through it and just hip over it. It just didn't work for him. But, I mean, after dropping, how do you say his last name? Usyk?
He hurt Usyk.
He did. He hurt him. He hurt him bad. And then Usyk came back and hurt him right back within the next, minute and a half, or not even minute and a half, like probably the next 40 seconds.
Yeah.
So, good stuff. Any other fights on here you want to talk about?
Billy Goff looked really good. Got to give it to him. I thought J.J. Aldrich fought tough as hell. And I know that he lost, but Jarno Aarons, he's actually a good, fun fighter to watch. I thought that Choi, Choi's been in the UFC for a while now. And he's had some tough fights and he's had some good wins. And this is a good win against Jarno Aarons. But I thought Aarons showed that, he needs to stay there in the UFC. Give him some other fights. Mm-hmm. He's a talented guy.
Good.
He's fun to watch.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. Let's go right into the PFL. Let's not waste any time. No, John. No. Okay. First, go to OnlyFans.com/weigh-in. OnlyFans.com/weigh-in. You guys, we want to thank you guys for supporting us. You know, it's funny. I had some people actually send me some DMs going, hey, I was your second and your third subscriber over there, and love listening to you guys. You know, any type of extra material you guys can put up on the OnlyFans. I'm over here just strictly for you guys. I have to scroll through all the tits and ass just to get to you, and I love it.
Just have to.
But
Sorry
just
about
have
that.
to. Well, one of them's a girl, and so she's like, I have to literally get through all the TNA to actually get to
We
your guys'
apologize.
content. But we want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. It is a free subscription, you guys. Head on over to us. We are the very first, and I believe we're still the only podcast that they are working with in their sports division. And I was actually just talking to Paige Van Zandt the other day, and her and Austin are going to be starting a podcast on their OnlyFans channel. So if you guys get an opportunity to check it out. And then is it Ariana Lipsky? Is it Ariana? Ariana.
Yeah.
Ariana Lipsky is also now on OnlyFans. She just signed a lucrative deal with OnlyFans, and good for her. And so she'll be over there. Look, you've got Michael Venom Page. You've got Chris Cyborg. You've got Luke Rockhold. You've got Brent Primus. You've got
AJ McKee.
You've got all these fighters that are on there. Check out their content. They're giving you guys a little inside look into their life and how they train and all the things that they do. So good. Check it out over there, but also check out our page at onlyfans.com/weighing in. All right, let's get right into the PFL. Man, this fight was fucking bananas, John. Bananas.
Did we not say it was going to be good, though?
You know,
did we not say?
Yeah, we did say. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much because people get irritated.
On this one, I'm going. Look, I said this is going to be a hell of a fight. This one is one that I'm going to be super disappointed if it doesn't live up to my expectations of it. And not only did it live up, it surpassed. Goddamn, Clay Collard is so fun to watch because he just keeps doing the right things at times. He goes to the body so well, and he just opens you up for other things. But Shane Burgos, man, you got to give Shane credit. He's got a fucking granite chin. He got hit with some big shots. He keeps coming back, and in the third round, he's trying to put a whooping on Clay. It was a great fight. Great fight by both guys. I enjoyed that. That, to me, I've watched a lot, not every PFL, but a goddamn plethora of them. That was the best main event they've ever had.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I wasn't sure if the main event was Ray Brother Cooper and Magomed Karamov. Was that a main event?
That was a good fight, but I don't think that was the main event on that.
Okay.
One. It might have
That
been.
was a fantastic fight also, and that was a little bit of back and forth because Ray was hurt a lot in that fight and then came back and knocked him out. What a fucking fight that was. But this,
I'm thinking that was not the.
I don't think it was either. I think there
night.
was somebody else ahead of them. But that was a great fight.
No, this is a main event.
Was
What
it?
do you mean? The main event was Clay Collard and Shane Burgos.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Dave, were you hearing?
Without you, I don't know where we would be.
Did you not hear anything we just said? Podcast, Dave. What were you
I heard you
doing?
say it was a main event.
Were you on the couch again, sleeping?
He's on the couch.
No. Oh Lord.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God,
Dave.
Okay.
Oh,
I
All right,
said,
what were you trying?
he
What were you?
said
What were you trying to say, Dave?
Go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I love me some podcast, Dave. Oh man, bro. He said this was the best main event that PFL has ever had, and I said I don't know. Was the Ray Brother Cooper fight against Magomed Karamov?
Magomed Karamov.
They also fought. They fought a couple times, but in the second time, Bray Brother Cooper.
The second time Brother Cooper was losing, he came back and he knocked
him
him out. But I don't think it was the main event of that night.
I don't think it was
Okay,
either.
I totally meant.
I know. We know.
We got that.
we figured that out, Dave, right away. I love you, brother. I love you.
I'm just
man.
making sure, like, there's a lot of people
You're
who
just
watch,
keeping us right in track, right?
who don't watch PFL, who might be like, wait, they're talking about like multiple main events in one show.
Oh shit!
I'm here for the fans.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
You're actually here for our amusement, is what it is. It's fucking great. I love it. Dave, let me just break it down. Clay Collard and Shane Burgos, they had a great fight. Back and forth. The body work started early from Clay Collard. It started to pay dividends as the fight went on. But what I love the most is that Shane Burgos' corner told him, you're down 2-0. Because he came out in that third round on fire.
Came out Dude.
Where was that, though, in rounds 1 and 2?
I know. That's the whole thing. But look, he was fighting, and he was fighting, tough, but he could not figure out how to stop the goddamn body attack and then just the volume of Clay Collard. Every time that he did something that was good, and he had moments that he was doing something good, and had Clay Collard out of position, off balance, spinning, around in the cage, he wasn't able to follow it up and do more damage with it. And he couldn't figure that out. In the third round, he just said, let's go for it. Yeah. And he did, man. And he was, obviously I thought he won the round, but he was putting it on Clay, and you kind of looked and said, man, if there was a fourth round, could this be different?
Yeah.
And it was just a great fight by both.
Are there championship fights 5 rounds?
Yes.
They are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
This is
the next set will.
Look, I had said with Shane Burgos at 145, he was somebody that came out with a lot of aggressiveness in the first round, then tend to slow down as the fight went on. He answered a lot of my questions. But he also created another question for me. Are you holding back in the first 2 rounds because for your whole 145-pound career, you got tired late? But then now in this fight, I was actually able to see you go, you know what? Oh, I've got energy. What am I holding back for? Let's go. Because you had a great third round. Great third round.
Oh, fantastic.
But Clay did his work. And look, and let me try to clarify this a little bit more for fighters and for people and fans. You guys got to understand, we as fighters in the gym, we're training with 16-ounce gloves on, headgear on, elbow pads normally, shin guards, knee pads. We've got all this gear all over us, okay? And we're making sure that no one gets hurt. But going to the body is not something a lot of us do. Like maybe once in a while, a lot of times we'll kick to the body a lot. Like myself, Luke Rockhold, some of our guys would kick to the body quite a bit. Mowgli was one of the best guys at kicking to the body. But when it comes down to going to the body with the hands, a lot of MMA fighters don't do it, which is crazy because when you get into the actual cage and you're wearing your MMA gloves, it makes a huge difference on the glove getting through because there's nothing really there. My little twiggy elbows that I have, right, because I've got little twiggy arms, and they don't block shit. And you put the MMA glove up in there, it hurts. And so I wonder, Clay's doing a great job of doing the work early in the fight.
That's because Clay boxed.
But it's not just...
Clay was a professional boxer who realized body shots are a good thing. And he's continued on with them in MMA.
And they're a lot easier to hit in MMA gloves, the body shots, than they are in boxing because the big gloves. Doubt about it. Even if you're wearing 8 and 10-ounce gloves in boxing, they're still hard to get through because my elbows can block or graze it and knock it off rhythm so it doesn't hit a clean shot.
They can just take the steam off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you could tell that those body shots were having an effect on Shane Burgos in the first 2 rounds. He had no answer. Because you want to know why he had no answer on how to block and how to counter is because in sparring and back where he's probably training, no one that he spars with probably does them. And that I ran into the same problem. And that was, we were talking about Nam Phan when I fought Nam Phan a while back. I'm like, this guy should have never been in the cage with me. But one of the things he did really well in the fight with me is he hit me to the body quite a bit. And it threw me off. I was like, okay, no matter what I do, I can't overextend. I can't make sure I throw hard. I can't load up. I can't do any of that stuff because I leave myself out of position. This little guy's going to hit me with a fucking body shot and drop me. And in one moment there, I believe in the second round or maybe in the beginning of the third, that little shit fucking hit me with a nice little body shot. I had to circle and stay away. And you can hear his corner yelling, he's hurt, he's hurt. And I was like, and I smiled and I'm like, fuck you. No, I'm not, but I was. I was hurt. Yeah, I was hurt. But I had that look in my face like, gosh, damn, this shit hurts. I was like laughing as I was trying to get fucking air. It feels so great. But no, it's one of the most miserable things is to hit to the body. But MMA guys don't utilize it enough. Clay Collard, it worked for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the finals, man. Looking forward to it.
Man, I want to say, was this his 3rd or 4th year with the PFL? And now he's finally made it because he's made it to the, this point and always has lost. Now he's finally made it to the finals and he's going up against the returning PFL tournament winner, and I call him champion, in Oliver Albin Mercier, OAM, who had the fight just before Clay Collard against Shane Burgos, and OAM put on a beautiful performance in that fight. He just looked in control through most of it and was just putting on big shots. Dave, what are you doing?
I was
with
asking
our
the
thing,
same
man?
shit, Dave.
I've got that Big John internet. I don't know what's going on.
What's going on?
My Big John internet.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull up Clay Collard's profile, but
won't let you.
I'm having a
Well, anyway, so look at OAM fighting Bruno Miranda. Bruno is a brawling style guy, a guy that, you looked at and you said, well, wrestling wise, OAM's going to have the advantage on the feet. Maybe, Bruno can create that brawl where he's putting shots on OAM. Like we said, the difference between, Mercier now and when he was in the UFC is he relied on his wrestling. He had to have wrestling opportunities to survive in the fight and get a win. He does not need his wrestling as far as to survive. He uses it when he needs to put a person in a bad position. But for the most part, he's landing clean shots. He's setting up beautiful counters. His stand-up is clean now, and he basically was the better technician on the feet. People can say whatever they want, but at TriStar, Zahabi has done a fantastic job with OAM in getting him to be a guy who's comfortable in the stand-up, understands counters, understands his footwork, understands distance control, and now he's a much more difficult person to beat. And it's not going to be an easy thing for Collard to get that win.
When a coach can get their hands on someone who is really good at one thing, and all I have to do is shape the other thing, I don't have to make you a world champion in the other thing. I just got to make you adequate in
respectable.
Respectable and adequate in those things, which is stand up for OAM. His wrestling is good. His power on the feet is good. His explosiveness is good. He's kind of rangy with his arms and his legs. He's got good push kicks. He knows how to keep the distance. And when he goes. He throws big power with he's southpaw, so he throws a straight left. He's got good power. And so, and if he gets in trouble, he gets rocked. That's the benefit of being a good wrestler. You get in trouble, you get rocked. You're able to shoot on takedowns, kind of stall the fight out. Unless your name is fucking Michael Chandler with no fight IQ. Okay, you know how to utilize your wrestling when you're in trouble. Okay, I think Clay Collard's got his hands full, but I want to know: does OAM try to take this fight to the ground? Because he knows that
that's the question.
There's no way on the ground that I think Clay beats OAM. On the feet, there's a chance. There's an opportunity there. I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying there's a chance and opportunity there. But
I'll say it right now. Clay Collard is the much better technician on the feet. OAM is respectable and can get it done with a lot of guys that are brawlers, like Miranda. Collard's not a brawler. No. Collard's a technician. He is very slick in the way he throws his shots, how he ducks under. And he ducks under in a way that a lot of boxers kind of do, but he doesn't get hit with knees and kicks and stuff. So he's doing it at a different time. He is very technically good. And he throws with a volume a la the Diaz brothers. He continues to just throw shot after shot after shot. And it just makes you start to hesitate on throwing yours because you're waiting for that perfect moment to counter, and it's never there.
Well, here's the other thing: is that look, if Clay Collard's going to go to the body on OAM, that puts him within wrestling range. If I can touch you with my hands, if I reach out and touch you with my hands, I could take you down. And so OAM is going to be thinking of that. Look, you try going to my body. Every time you go to my body, I'm snatching the single, or I'm hitting the double, or I'm trying to push that body shot by and get to the body.
He can definitely take Collard down.
He definitely can. Can he hold him down? Which I think he can. I don't know. He can at least hold him down for 3 of the 5 rounds. I think he'll be able to get it done. I think he'll get some work in there, but I think Clay's going to, remember, the fight starts always on the feet for every round, and Clay's got an opportunity to get the knockout. He's got power. He mixes up his combinations. OAM is he's very stiff on the feet still, even though it's coming out a little bit more fluid. It's still not able to comprehend. He's still not able to comprehend Body shots, head, body shots, case, circle, step, duck underneath, all those things. All the things that Clay Collard does really well could give OAM some fits if OAM decides to keep it on the feet or he's not able to get the takedown. So those are things to look at when you're talking about this main event.
Yeah.
Next fight.
Sadabu C against Carlos Miranda. It was actually a good fight. You know, it was Miranda had a lot of problems with the size and length of Sadabu C. And he got to the point where he was able to get the fight to the ground, but it was just Sadabu C being able to just outpoint him throughout the fight is really what happened. It was a split decision. I thought Sadabu won, but it was one of those fights you wanted more, because the one thing that Miranda, Carlos Leal Miranda has, he's got power. He can pop, and he was always looking to land that big shot. And a lot of times he was, stepping into shots to try to land that shot, and it ended up working against him.
Yeah. I'm going to look at this fight and go, look, if you are someone that missed weight, you shouldn't be allowed to go to the finals. That's the problem.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they need to have an alternate for these fights.
Yeah.
And that sucks because you got to pay the alternates to show up and make weight majority of the time.
Yeah.
So that sucks. But when you're doing these tournaments, you want to make sure that there's a backup person there, because by missing weight, I think he missed it by 3 pounds. That's a lot, because you're giving the pound allowance also.
Yep.
So that's 4 pounds. That means that I almost feel like you didn't even try. I'm just being honest, John.
I'm not going to argue with it.
And so that's
frustrating.
frustrating. That's a frustrating moment, I think, if you're someone.
It is.
And Sadabu C being the champion last time, of last year's tournament champion, it's frustrating because that this guy's standing between me and getting my goals again, and now I have to fight him. What happens if Sadabu C said, no, I'm not fighting him. He missed weight. What do? I advance. I made the weight, right? I mean, how do you do that? I made the weight. Homeboy didn't make the weight.
You would think.
Right? I mean, I'm going to be honest. Like, if I'm him, I'm going like, you can't take me out of the final. I automatically get a bid to the finals. This homeboy didn't make weight. They've got to have strict rules on these type of things, because what stops those people from doing what Miranda did and then winning and then getting to the finals? And then what happens in the finals if the guy doesn't make weight?
Well, it's like anything. You can't win the championship if you don't make weight.
But he got to the finals though by not making weight. That's the problem.
I'm not saying anything about that.
I know you're not arguing with me, but I'm pointing this out so everyone at home can be like, yeah, wait. Josh's making a good point. What the fuck's going on?
You are making a good point, but it's obviously they have something set up because you would think that they would have alternates.
Yeah,
this is one of those ones.
What
I don't have the answer for.
The other question I have is whatever happened to fucking Ray Brother Cooper? I haven't seen him in the last two tournaments.
He's taking time off.
Good for him. He's probably enjoying that $1 million he won from knocking out Magomed Karamov. All right.
Who?
Speaking of,
is our next fight Magomed Karamov against Solomon Renfro. Solomon Renfro put on a good performance. It just wasn't enough overall. He couldn't stop the takedowns when they came. Just overall, Magomed's just a more experienced fighter. He got the win, but it does make it to where a guy in Magomed Karamov, who has been a tournament winner and the champion of the PFL, takes on the last tournament winner and a champion in Sadabu C. So that's really going to be a fight that should be an exciting, fun fight to watch.
Look, this was a fight where I thought I was expecting to be completely one-sided, John. It wasn't. No, Renfro fought a great fight. The other thing as well is that Renfro at the end had the better cardio and got the takedown at the very end. This let me know, like, I saw some flaws in a lot of holes in Magomed Karamov's game.
Okay, let me ask you this. Did he not look like he didn't train for that fight?
I'm not going to say that. I'm going to give all the credit to Renfro. He fought a good fight. He put the pressure. He had big shots. He did some takedowns, made it hard for him to get the takedowns. But when he did get him, he was able to hold him down a little bit. But I thought Renfro did a good job.
My man Josh Thompson is always saying, "Oh, that dude looks soft. That dude looks soft." You're not going to say that. But John Karamov didn't look soft.
He always looks soft.
No, he doesn't always. Take a look at his fights against Cooper.
Yeah,
he was in
some
shape.
of these Dagestani guys, some of these guys from Chechnya, and some of these I don't know what it is, man. Like underneath the hairy chests and the hairy bellies, like they look a little soft, but man, they got cardio for days. He looked tired. Midway through the second round, he looked tired. He looked gassed, and he looked like, okay, look, just get whatever I got to do to get through this fight. Now maybe he'll pick it up because he's going to need to wrestle a lot more against Sadabusi.
Oh yeah, no, he's not going to win the stand up against C.
Yeah, he's going to need to wrestle. So,
Yep.
But I thought I'm not going to take anything away from Renfro. Renfro fought a great fight. He ran out. I look at it. He didn't lose the fight. He just ran out of time. That's the way I look at that fight for him. So
That's
good for him.
Good way to look at it.
All right. Any of the other fights on here you want to talk about?
You had the amateur contest between Ali Walsh against Ed Davis. Biagio Ali Walsh, again, the grandson of Muhammad Ali. He looked good. You know, it was an early stoppage to a point, kind of. But, you know, it's an amateur fight. That's what you get. It's part of, you know, amateurs is, you know, you don't let them go as far. But it was an early stoppage. And I'll give it up for, you know, Biagio. He goes, yeah, it was an early stoppage. So
it was an early stoppage though, John, but Ed Davis took some horrific shots, man. They were clean. He took 3 big shots. Boom, 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 and then went down. I mean, he was hurt. He was hurt really bad.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You got to give it up for, I like Alexi Progrande. He's a good young fighter. He's fun to watch. I'll give it up to Stefanelli. He fought tough, but, you know, Progrande, the only thing Progrande, like, once you've tried for a submission and then you tried for it again and it didn't work out, don't go for that thing, you know, the next time, which you did, unless it's just given to you there, then take it.
Yeah.
But, you know, he kept on going for the arm triangle and it just wasn't working against Stefanelli and stuff. But the kid's young. He's got a lot of talent. I think he's fighting out of Kill Cliff, and they're doing a good job with him. He's fun to watch.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our PFL talk, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Now Dave's going to give us some news. We're gonna have some fun with this news today.
Yeah.
Are we?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Okay, go
trying
ahead,
to
Dave.
figure out what time we're at right now. We're about an hour
22.
21, so trying to take timestamps. I'm taking manual timestamps here. So we got MVP.
It's tough to do from the couch.
Yep. You know, sitting over here. We got Josh with his Irish glasses on. I'm not sure what relevance it has to an American guy and a Russian guy, but
there's none.
But MVP says he wants a top 10 if he goes to the UFC. Rachmanov says, how about number 6? So be careful what you wish
almost
for. What
right
do you
in
guys
the
think
middle.
about that? Yeah, well,
I kind of like it.
What do you think about that?
I think I got to be honest. Like everyone talks about Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman, and those guys against MVP. I think personally, this is a harder fight for him for MVP than those two guys. I mean,
First off,
go ahead.
Rachmanov's got better stand-up than Colby Covington.
Yeah.
So
he's also a lot more reckless with his stand-up. He's also can mix in his stand-up with his wrestling. Colby Covington and Kamaru Usman are very traditional style stand-up guys. Colby is just sloppy stand-up, but it leads into his segues to his wrestling. Kamaru Usman has become a really good stand-up fighter. But he's also slowing down with his age, plus a lot of the injuries
he's got good power.
He's got good power. He's got a great jab. All of those things. Yep. The speed of MVP is going to give him some problems. And the ability to wrestle. Now, I've heard through the grapevine that Kamaru Usman has problems with his knees. He's having a hard time getting a lot of the wrestling, staying up with the wrestling because of his knees. That's why he's focused a lot more on his stand-up these days. I think the speed of MVP would be a problem for him. Now, he may be able to take MVP down. He may be able, but I don't know if he'll be able to hold him down.
The speed of MVP is going to give everyone
It's going to give everyone problems.
You don't realize it until all of a sudden you're in there, how fast he is and how much distance he can cover.
Yeah. I think the Rachmanov fight is probably the toughest fight for him.
I think that's a tough fight.
Yeah,
I like that one.
I think the Colby sure is tough. But Colby is very hittable, and Colby can wrestle for 5 rounds. But we've also seen that MVP can continuously try to get up for 5 rounds. What you have to understand with MVP is, what you have to understand with him is he's tall, he's long, he's lanky, he's fast. His whole career has been about guys trying to take him down.
Yeah.
Only the best of the best have been able to hold him down. Now, I look at Logan Storley. Logan Storley is a better wrestler than Colby Covington. Logan Storley is a better wrestler than Kamaru Usman. He's maybe not. I think he is right up there with them in terms of MMA, but he still has a lot of growth to happen, though, in the MMA world. Okay, he still needs to work more on his stand-up. He still needs to work more on his fight IQ and developing more of his stand-up. But Logan Storley is younger than them. I don't know by how much, but he is younger than them.
Logan is 30 years of age.
But he's young in the sport. He hasn't even hit his prime yet. I know that he's, 29, 30 years, 31 years old. But he's still, these guys with Colby and with Kamaru, they're 3 or 4 years older than him. That's 3 or 4 years of being in the sport, fighting the top level of guys. That's knowledge earned over time. I think that with MVP, I think that the Rachmanov fight is a tough fight for him. I look at the Stephen Thompson fight being a great fight for the fans. Now, in terms of where it gets him, it gets him ranked number 5. If he wins that fight, that's the fight to make.
That's the fight that should take place, though.
I'm not sure if they're going to do that. I look at the other guys. Can you pull up the welterweight division, please, in the UFC? Now, everyone's going.
Okay, but how about then? How about? All right, if they sign MVP, there's this guy that's right out of the top 10, Ian Machado Gary, who's got this great stand-up game. How about him against MVP?
I would love that personally for me. I would love to see that fight. But that being said, if I'm MVP coming in there, look, I'm 35 years old. I'm like, nah, 36 years old. I'm not taking that fight. Why? I'm coming in for top 10, and I'm going to be honest, he's signing for top 10 money. If he's leaving Bellator, because Bellator has the right to match, and he's going to go to the UFC, he's signing for top 10 money. He's probably signing for top 5 money, like Michael Chandler did. I'm going to be fighting the best guys. I'm going to fight the top 5, top 6. I'll take these, and that's it. I don't even know why they still have Kamzat in there. Dude, it's dumb. The guys that I think are going to give, I think Bilal gives him a hard time. Bilal's wrestling, his physical, his cardio, his his physical strength in the clinch, all of those things will give MVP some problems. Gilbert Burns will be a good matchup. Be a good fight back and forth depending on who can implement their game plan. MVP's not bad on the ground. He's not bad. No. He understands the submission, but he's nowhere near Gilbert Burns' level on the ground.
No, not that. But what he is good with, first off, he's got very big hands.
Yeah.
Okay. He's good at grasping the wrist and controlling people on the ground with those wrists and everything. And it's just a matter of he does what he does. He's not trying to be, and he has submissions. The very first time I reffed him, he pulled off a damn toe hold. I'm like, what the hell was that? You're supposed to knock people out, man. Then he went and did that in serious fashions in other fights I did. But look, he's good. And he can fight with any of those guys. But I do think that Shavkat Rakhmonov is as tough a fight for him as they can give him out of that top 10.
Yeah.
I would rather see the Thompson fight just for my sheer enjoyment in seeing those two guys. But I think that, honestly, Rakhmonov is a tougher fight for MVP than Covington. I think he's a tougher fight for MVP than just about anybody up there.
Well, just so you guys are at home, look, whoever he fights, let's say he comes in and fights right away, he fights Kamaru Usman. That's going to let you know how much money they paid him.
Oh, yeah.
If he ends up coming in, he fights someone in the top.
If he fights a Kamaru, he's not going to fight a Colby, since Colby's already kind of with him. If he fights a Bilal, or he fights a Burns.
Yep. If he fights one of those 3 guys, that means that they're paying him a lot of money. That means that he asked for championship money, and we're going to pay him the championship money, and we're going to see how it goes. And we'll restructure your contract if you lose. That's what we'll do. But if that should let you know on who he gets when he comes in. If he gets down there in the Jeff Neal and the other fighters that were down there, because Dave took it off the screen, so I can't see. Thanks, Dave. But if he gets into the Sean Brady, the Jeff Neal, even the Stephen Thompson, means that they gave him good money, but it's still like, okay, look, I'll give you one fight at this purse, and then when you get to the top 5, I'll give you the other fights at this purse. Is probably what they're doing. What I would imagine. That's normally how managers will negotiate it. Say, hey, I want somebody in the top 15, okay, and I'll take it for this much money. If I do win that fight, then you put me into the top 5 guy, whoever it is, okay, and then I will take it. Then my contract goes up from then on up. And then they've already negotiated their championship money. Like if I fight for the title, if I end up being the main event, all these other things. On how many pay-per-view dollars. They don't get any pay-per-view dollars.
But right now, we don't even know he's going there.
I think he is, John. Come on. You don't know he's going there, but we do.
Oh, I just based upon them showing him in the UFC from London. I say that, but I would think.
The reason why I say that, why do we say that, John? Go ahead. Tell everyone why we say those type of things.
Well, first off, if you're the UFC, you're not going to sit there and put somebody from a different promotion on the screen. There's no reason to. It doesn't do anything for you. But if you're in talks with them and you believe that they're going to be part of your roster, yeah, you want to start to introduce that person to the fan base, let them know, and then your broadcaster, commentators are going to sit there and say, "Oh yeah, that's so and so," and it's just starting to get that name out there, and so they can start talking about it. That's what you do.
Well, what I take it from though is history has shown certain guys that have left other promotions. I'll give you an example: Jake Shields. They're buddy with Dana, sitting cage side with Dana, then behind Dana, then with Dana. Like, you know what I mean? Like, history has shown when a fighter is leaving another organization, Dana's kind of already got almost a full guarantee that they're coming, he'll put them down with him. He'll put them down cage side. He'll put them, in this area there. So that's when you'll see those fighters there. And so I believe he's going to end up there at the UFC. Good for him, man. Good for him. Yeah. He's coming towards the end of the career, and he wants to take a step and say, like, hey, I've been with Bellator my whole career. Let me see what happens over here. While I still have some speed left in me.
There you go.
All right, next up.
He's still talented.
All right, I want to highlight a couple of tragic instances from this past week. We had WWE's former champion Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda. He passed away at 36, really young. There's not been much on the situation that happened with him, but we also lost Hall of Famer, legendary Terry Funk as well, who I know Big John knew. And then
Terry Funk is a classic man.
Outside of the sports entertainment world, we had Bob Barker pass as well. Yeah. What a crazy week! I mean, inside of the wrestling world alone, to lose Terry Funk, absolutely just classic legend, just absolute gangster in the sports entertainment space, and then Bray Wyatt, who is just one of a kind, second to none, just at 36 years old, same age as me, had at least another 10 years of work ahead of him, potential ahead of him. Just tragic. I want to get your thoughts, just anything you want to share on these three.
Well, John, I haven't seen too much of Bray Wyatt because I don't watch a lot of the current wrestling, and John's kind of the same way. But Terry Funk, I mean, I pretty much grew up watching Terry Funk, and then first thing that went through my mind was Roadhouse. Watching him on there, and just the Patrick Swayze, the Roadhouse, and what if someone calls my mother a whore? And then Patrick Swayze, well, is she? He just looks at him like, what? So it's just one of those, anyways. It's sad. It's sad when the people you grew up watching are gone, but Father Time's undefeated. We say that about sports, but we also say that about life. And we were talking about it earlier, is that you don't know when your time comes. It doesn't matter. It could be tomorrow. It could be in an hour. It could be another 50 years. You never know. So sad, but it's it comes in. Shit, fucking Bob Barker was 99, John.
90, dude, winner. Come on, man. You went to 99, wow. Bob Barker. You're a winner, dude. I just look at Terry Funk. There's certain guys in pro wrestling that stand out, through the years, as far as guys that were great for that genre, the entertainment, the athleticism, and Ric Flair is one of those guys, and Terry Funk was probably he was right next to Ric Flair, if not, one step, even above him, because Terry Funk was the real deal. He was a tough dude, and he was a professional wrestler to the core, but he was not someone that would take shit from anybody.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to think that professional wrestling was fake, he was going to prove to you were wrong. Don't let him grab you. It's the same thing I used to tell people about Gene LaBelle. Don't let him grab you. I'm telling you right now, do not let him demonstrate on you, because he will crank the shit out of you. Jeez. That was Terry Funk. He's a good man. Sad
day in sports history and sad day in game show history. So rest easy to these legends, man.
Yep.
What else you got for us, Dave?
All right, we'll wrap up on this one. John wanted to look at Usyk and compare him to John. Why don't you take this one away? Why don't you intro this segment?
Come on, you gotta look. We did have Alexander Usyk take on Daniel Dubois. Usyk won in the 9th round with a knockout. There was a question thing, but take a look at Usyk. He's doing his work. That's Zumba, Josh. He's doing the Zumba. Look at him go.
Man,
look at Alexander Usyk. He's just having fun, man, and I love that about him. But we used to talk about, the classic was the Techno Viking. Keith Jardine, the Techno Viking of all, man. Look at him going. Him and Usyk are the same.
John.
I love it.
It was pretty nice to see, pretty refreshing, I should say, to see a heavyweight move like that. Now,
hell yes.
The Techno Viking, now sure, it's cool because, it's the middle of the day and they're using techno music and they're probably all hopped up on drugs right now in the middle of the day doing dance down the street. I can't tell you how much probably cocaine or ecstasy he's on right now, just doing his shit.
I don't know.
But
once he starts.
Oh, yeah. Once he gets
starts
going.
Jamming, baby. Oh, yeah. Stand back.
I want to know what this guy looks like now.
Puts the hand. He looks just like Keith Jardine still.
Look, he's just pointing at people, telling them, you better mind your space and your business.
You better sit right there.
Yeah.
You're sitting right there. Don't you move.
My question is, can this guy fight? Or does he just look the part?
Yeah, who says he can fight?
No, I'm just saying, like, the way he's trying to boss people around, I wonder if he can fight. I believe this was like one of the first videos ever on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, this was a big one. This is one that really took off, and at the time, it was a big thing.
Dave, can you look this up to see how many views this thing has?
How many? Oh, that's
it has 27. This video specifically, the Viking has 27 million
views.
But it's only 12 years old, which puts it at 2011. So definitely is not one of the first, because even I've got a 2006 video.
Look, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Both guys are moving well. Usyk's moving well. The Techno Viking's moving well. But in a fight, I'm going with Usyk.
You think?
Just going out on a limb there.
Just on a limb, huh? Speaking of fights, man, did you watch his fight with Daniel?
I did watch
with Triple D
with
Daniel Dubois.
Yeah, I did watch the fight,
and
I know Dubois is upset with saying that he felt it was a clean shot that he hit somewhere in the 5th round. I want to say it was, and it was called a low blow. Look, it was below the belt line.
Mm-hmm.
It's down, so I don't know how he can sit there and complain about it. And Usyk hit him with clean shots that put him down. I want to say the 7th he went down, and the 9th he went down. And look at Usyk he's a clean, well heeled heavyweight fighter who technically moves himself very well in the cage. In the ring, gives guys problems with where he's at. They think they can touch him. All of a sudden he's stepping back. Throws beautiful counters. His left hand is just absolute money down the middle. He's the real deal. There's a reason why he's got those belts.
Yeah. When I was watching the fight, I missed the first 2 rounds. But when I was watching the fight, this fight was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I thought Usyk was going to run away with it. Now I believe I gave Dubois like 5th and 6th round. I know I gave Usyk the 7th.
I gave Dubois definitely. I gave him. I want to say the 3rd and the 5th. I think I gave him the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, or the 4th and 5th. I believe Dubois. But I also got to be upfront. I thought Usyk was. I know he ended up winning by stoppage, but I thought the fight was going to be a lot more one-sided. Where Dubois had some moments in the early rounds, the ones that I saw anyways, where he looked good at times.
He looked really good. You know, and what I also loved was, I know it seems a little like kind of, God, maybe it can come across as condescending or just like this isn't the time for it. But Usyk came over to him and said, hey, man, afterwards, he was giving him some advice. Don't be frustrated with this situation. You're very tense and tight, and I could see that about you when I was fighting you. Don't be tense and tight. You're good when you relax. Your cleanest shots landed on me pretty much. Like when you relax, that's kind of what I got out of it from the post-fight talk and conversation between them, is that you're good, you know, relax more, you're tense, and your good shots land when you're relaxed. That's just being a good sportsman. Yeah. And I love that. I admire that about Usyk. I'd like to see him and Andy Ruiz. Anthony.
Yeah.
Andy Ruiz, sorry.
Andy Ruiz.
I don't know why I keep thinking Anthony. I don't know why. Andy.
You're thinking
Anthony
Anthony Johnson.
Yeah.
Joshua.
Yeah, Anthony Joshua. Okay, so Andy Ruiz, I'd like to see that fight happen. But I really believe, like, what are we, outside of the Ngannou fight, what are we waiting on? Let's go, man. Let's go. Tyson Fury.
We know what we're waiting on.
Lift your skirt, grab your balls. Let's do it.
Oh, we're waiting on the fight. The fight, Josh.
You know who gets lost in this whole thing, though, is Wilder.
Oh, yeah, always.
Maybe he just doesn't want to fight right now. Who knows? He's just fun to watch fight. I love watching him fight. But Usyk and Wilder, I think
Usyk and Wilder would be great.
Yeah, but I think Wilder beats him. I think Wilder knocks him out. I think that Usyk has a better chance of beating Tyson Fury than he does Wilder. I just think the styles. Tyson Fury can pop. He can hit hard. He's got good movement. He's got great cardio. All of those things. Usyk's got all those things as well. He doesn't hit as hard as Tyson Fury. He definitely doesn't hit as hard as Wilder. But I think his movement to equal what Tyson Fury can do in there with his movement. I know he's a smaller fighter. I know he's a smaller heavyweight. But his movement, his ability to make fighters miss, I think that makes for a very fun fight. Now, I'm not saying he beats Tyson Fury. I'm saying he's got a better chance of beating Tyson Fury than he does, I think, Wilder. I'm not saying he doesn't beat Wilder. I think Wilder has a better chance of knocking out Usyk than he does Tyson Fury, which we've seen already happen, fight. So I look at this fight. This goes back into styles make matchups, man. This is a great fight.
Always.
Styles make matchups. Usyk is a problem for all of them. Wilder's a problem with his power for anybody. Tyson Fury is just a problem for anybody because of his size, his speed, his athleticism, his movement. I don't know. Do you even call him athletic? Because he doesn't look athletic at all.
He's athletic. He
He's
doesn't look
got
it,
the
but he's
body of
athletic.
a fucking goddess, that guy. I swear. I love it. I love watching him dance around, fucking touch people up, and then and I love it. Bro, he's got a slick tongue, too. He's quick on the draw with the tongue. He just fucking just pop, 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 pop. Man, he's amazing.
You know where he got that from? His daddy.
Yep, Gypsy.
Did you see his dad at that press conference with KSI and Tommy Fury,
No.
Logan Paul, Dylan Dennis? It was freaking John Fury took over, man. He was kicking tables. He's the one that started the whole thing, man. I love him.
Do you think KSI beats Fury?
No,
I don't think so either. I think Fury fucking.
I think Tommy lights him up.
Yep, I think so too. All right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap up our show. But before we wrap this up, go to WayneAirMerch.com. Pick up some of our apparel there. Got the new logo, got the old logo. We've got some new designs that are up. We want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. And pick up your shirts there at WayneAirMerch.com. And John, take us away.
Boom. Everyone out there, we hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you